To all YouTubers who are watching this channel, welcome to the Impact Review, April 25th. This Impact was a surprise. There were certain things that I didn't expect they would even bring up. And there are certain things that I'm hoping won't happen. But I have no idea if they will work. This kind of was an experiment of a show a little bit. So I want to say early, I am not... Sorry, a little too high. I am not interested in the aces and eights. I'm not. The aces and eights, to me, should have already been ended by the beginning of this year. It's been around too long. Yes, Bully Ray did inject some life into it, but it's like it's still on life support. I don't know what it would take to try and turn the faction around and make it relevant, because there's too many people, and most of those too many people are not used anyway. And the ones that are there, they don't feel relevant. At least the way they're being structured. So I just want to see this die. But there were things done in this show that was involving aces and eights that is important. So let's get on to the possible reforming of fortune. We in 2010 to 2011 were wishing the fortune and immortal would go away, would die, would end. Yes, I am a Hulk Hogan fan. Oh, let me tell you something, brother. I am the one who is the true immortal of professional wrestling. And now seeing Hulk Hogan tattooed on his back, immortal? Are you serious? I didn't see that before. I didn't notice. I don't know how long it's been there. Someone tell me below. But seeing immortal tattooed on his back, just... Dude, I didn't expect it. I would have thought Hulkamania or Yellow and Red Forever. I didn't know. I didn't know he would do something like that. But fortune being thought of, being brought back in this content, it really sounds like it's the worst idea you could think of. And admittedly, at first, when I was watching Impact and when it was first mentioned, I'm thinking, oh my, no, they do not want to try and bring Fortune back. Fortune is not going to work. But then I thought about it. Maybe it's not the point that it would work or not. It's the point of just hinting it. That would give some type of relevance. What I believe is this. I don't believe Fortune will be brought back. They'll tease it and they'll try and push it. But it's really meant to take away from aces and eights. For me personally, what I believe is this. They know aces and eights is sucking. They know it's terrible. So, like Paul Heyman always said, and if you saw the rise and fall of the rise and fall of an ECW, sorry about botching, he always said, accentuate the positive, hide the negative. It is obvious that aces and eights is not totally getting over. People are still not fond of it. Only Bully Ray, Mr. Anderson, and most of the time Devon are the only ones who will talk. Usually Devon is the only one that mainly talks. They don't have D'Lo Brown talk. They don't have Doc or Mikey talk. They don't have the Heels twin talk. It's only these three guys. These are the only ones that are being generally getting over. Even though Bischoff and Briscoe, they're seen a lot, but they're not strong enough to even be allowed to talk. They did it first, and it was obvious they sucked. So that's the reason why nothing's being done with them except putting them with a Kurt Angle from time to time. But these three guys are the ones who are talking, and they realize this is not enough. You got too many guys that are not being used that suck, and three guys that are being used, they're not totally relevant. So you need to really take away from them. So tease a Fortune reforming even though it won't get done. I'm hoping Fortune doesn't reform because it didn't work that well. When they mixed it with Immortal, it went to shit. And I was glad it went away. Particularly now, without a Ric Flair there. Ric Flair, the wheeling and dealing, whining and dining. I love to stick my Space Mountain dick up to anybody's butt. I don't mean to be so graphic, but you know what I mean. Everyone knows how Ric Flair is. He is Space Mountain, ladies and gentlemen. Thank goodness that we weren't there at the time when he tried to insert it. But you get my point. We do not have a Ric Flair there. So Fortune would not feel right. It would be like Evolution, and you may have a Ric Flair there, but there would not be... No, not Ric Flair, sorry. If they reformed Evolution, and there was no Triple H in the reforming of it because he would be the veteran out of the entire group, it wouldn't work. So teasing it to try and take away from the aces and eights, to try and, even though they're still being seen, but really focus on a possible thing might actually be good. We really can't do nothing with aces and eights right now. So seeing that Christopher Daniels and a Kazarian periodically through the night trying to convince a AJ Styles, a Robert Roode, and saying nothing about James Storm trying to kick his ass out was actually interesting. The segment in the ring with them, with James Storm, then James Storm getting laid out by them, then almost getting laid out by aces and eights, felt a little clunky, but what made it not too bad is when they brought in Joseph Park, because he got attacked by the 3D brothers. It makes sense for the storyline. Does it mean it's great storytelling? No, because it wasn't directed towards Joseph Park and Devon directly. Even though Devon initiated the 3D onto the table, but it was Bully Ray who said, I want to do a 3D. It's always been known that Devon is the one who starts it. You could say that's how they're going to promote the feud between Devon and Joseph Park more, so it can lead into Slammiversary, so Joseph Park can get the title. It's alright to see it in that perspective. It's good for the story, but it's not great storytelling at all. It still feels weak. The faction sucks. So I'm going to move on. Now, what did we get next? We got a Rob Terry sighting, yes! And I told you guys a while ago that Rob Terry would not be separated from a Robbie E for quite a while. I didn't believe it. I believe for some time he's going to be stuck with him because they're not going to have anything truly for him to do. He needs to still get over. So periodically he's going to be seen. So we saw a Rob Terry squash a Joey Ryan. So now we see a Jesse Goddard's. Well, I felt that the match was too long. I know the match wasn't very long, but I felt it should have been shorter so a Rob Terry would destroy him, show more interest, show more of his potential. It wasn't a totally bad match for a jobber of a Jesse Goddard's. It was a good match for him. He's a jobber just like Robbie E is. That is what he is at this moment. But you could see that a Jesse Goddard's is over a Robbie E because Robbie E had to introduce him. So you can see the order. You got Robbie E who's at the bottom. You got Jesse Goddard's who's above him. And you got Rob Terry above them both. Rob Terry is slowly being pushed. Hopefully being pushed. So we know Rob Terry is one and won it. I'll take it for what it is. I'm glad to see Rob Terry on TV. And I really hope they begin to push him more and let him get away from Robbie E and Jesse Goddard's. So let's go to the knockouts. 2 matches, ladies and gentlemen. 2. Yeah! I'm surprised that we got 2 actual matches for the knockouts. Mainly because of the new website that just got put up. I haven't seen it yet. I only saw the tease for it. So after this review, I'm going to be taking a little look at it. Maybe I might actually do a mixed bag of wrestling or a debate of the week on it. I haven't done a debate of the week in quite a while. I did a mixed bag a couple of months, like almost a month ago. But it's that's promoting 2 matches. Seeing a Terra with a Terrence, what do we actually have with this? I mean, this is just a match for Terrence to get more exposure. I was hoping that there could have been a Gail Kim to come and bother her. My hope is this when it comes to those 2. I know it's not structured right. Sorry, for some reason I'm botching today. I don't believe this is going to be great. Those 2, they're not. But it is a feud that we have. And we need to promote it going to Slammiversary. That's what I'm hoping for. We know Terrence won with a roll-up. It's necessary for her development. It wasn't a great match. But the crowd still liked it. They liked Terrence. And that was the purpose of the match. Just to see if the people would like her. And that's it. Now for the Knockouts Championship, Velvet Sky versus and Mickie Jane. Mickie didn't turn heel. She showed signs of being fucking pissed off, but she did not turn heel. Now the question is, next week, will we see something from her? I don't know. I'm hoping seeing that frustration of her hitting the ring apron really will show her being more disgruntled, showing that she may turn heel. This is what I'm hoping for. At first I'm going, why did Velvet win? There's no purpose. But if you show hints of Mickie Jane beginning to show more disgruntled attitude and that she will eventually turn heel, it's necessary and I want it. As much as the match wasn't a bad match, the crowd, just like the first match, was actually into it more. I don't think there was much canned heat into it. So seeing this, even though Velvet won, she did play to the knee injury, fine. See it in this respect, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to turn a woman who has not been turned heel in quite a long time, you want to make it very good and dramatic, so you got to build up to it. And that leads me into the next thing. Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan, I believe, is being slowly built up to be the one that will help Hulk Hogan in the end. I do not believe it's going to be Slammiversary. I'll be glad if it is. But honestly, I think he'll really come into his own by Bound for Glory. But he will have something during Slammiversary. The promo segments when he was in the gym was good. The ring was very good. Hulk Hogan coming out speaking was also very good. And I thought this was interesting. Hearing Hulk Hogan say, when I knew Andre the Giant, he didn't come into the ring and act like a bitch and whine. Andre the Giant did whine a couple of times. Not like a bitch, but he did whine. Hey, that's how the show goes. People you say never would whine, I did whine. It's just that they wouldn't be considered bitches because Andre would kick your ass. I'm glad this happened. It was necessary. The way it ended was good because it leads into the rest of the night. And I didn't mind it. We're still going to get more work from a Matt Morgan, and that is the most important thing. Next, the bad influence on the match between a Chavo and Supermet and Dirty Heels. Seeing the bad influence continually teasing Fortune using a Robert Roode was also a good touch. Like I said, it's like hiding the negatives of aces and eights by trying to tease a positive, even though many people would consider it not a positive, of a Fortune being reformed. It's important to do this. We want to keep this show interesting. Yes, it's an old gimmick, but it still could work as long as it's being teased. Now, seeing an Austin Aries say, you want to go with those guys? Fine. Fuck me, fine. But you know what? You ain't going to be nothing other than the guy I beat. They lost the match to Chavo and Supermet. And then I realized something. I really didn't understand why Dirty Heels couldn't win here. And then I realized it. You must have some more catalyst, something to promote more of a Dirty Heels bad influence feud. And this is how you do it. You get them screwed over, even if it's not intentional, to Chavo and Supermet. We know that Chavo and Supermet are nothing. They're just holding the titles for one of these two wonderful, glorious tag teams. Now we don't know who's going to get it. But now I'm hoping that the next couple of impacts, we are going to see these guys show more of a stronger feud, start doing in-ring segments, then start doing their feuding, fighting one another. So when it goes to Slammiversary, we're going to have an epic match. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, on the clock is something that's going to be used when the next number one contender match is coming up, which I found really interesting. Seeing Rockstar Spud, seeing Suicide and Cameron, if I'm pronouncing his name right, I'm sorry if I'm not, but seeing these guys allowed to be voted on is actually a very novel idea. Of course, the WWE has done it, but I'm hoping that TNA will actually allow it to happen. Let it happen on the website. At least they're not pushing it like the WWE up our ass in a raw active shit. So I don't mind it. Now, also knowing that Christian Saban's coming back, they did a wonderful promo segment for him. I loved it. It was simple. It was direct. Seeing him in the gym working, seeing him along with his long hair, seeing him getting hurt. This will even give more energy for the X Division. I still am worried that they're doing these triple threats too much. But I'm hoping that they don't show it on every show and they don't totally highlight it every single time. Make it special, TNA. Make sure that the triple threat for the X Division is special. As long as you do it like that, I'm fine with it. If you promote it too much, I'm going to get bored of it, and I'm sure more than a few people can get tired seeing a triple threat with the X Division. If you see it on every show, open this show every single time, if it went down that route, you would get sick of it. So I myself personally hope it does not happen. So, getting the, let's see if I'm forgetting anything. Alright, I'm at the end. I believe I'm at the end. When it comes to Hulk Hogan and Bully Ray, throughout the night we saw segments of them both. Particularly when it came to him and Devon, they did a good segment talking about who's going to get Brooke now. I don't mind getting Brooke. She's a good looking woman. I'm sure she'll be like this to me. I'm only about 5'8", near 5'9". I say 5'8.5". She looks like she's about 5'10" or above. Near 5'10", at least. She is a tall woman, but who cares? You're happy with whoever you're with, no matter if you're tall or short. But when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, I can say this. Throughout the night with Bully Ray, it wasn't bad. His segments were the only ones that was promoted, and they weren't all bad. And like I said before, I'm sick of aces and eights. But like I said also, Bully Ray has been giving them energy. It doesn't mean that saving it, but it is making it at least relevant enough that we're not 100% sick of it. I say about 80% sick of it. 20% could be Bully Ray. The segment at the end of the night, and Hulk Hogan himself did some good segments. I really believe that when it comes to Brooke Hogan, I really believe they have a potential for her to be a decent actress. She talks not bad. Now, I have 2 subscribers, Miss Juicy Sparkles and Miss Impact. And I didn't hear much about Miss Juicy Sparkles feeling about a Brooke Hogan. She probably might think she's not too bad. I'm just taking a guess. Miss Impact, I know how much she loves her and believes that she's underutilized, not underrated. Underutilized. Actually, yeah, underrated and underutilized. And this segment kind of showed that. It wasn't 100% bad on Brooke's part. She sounded very emotional, very compassionate, and didn't look totally like, duh. She didn't. There's some people that just give this look like, I'm just saying this because I'm getting paid. And then there's some people that may say, well, I'm not that good at it, but you know what? I'm going to give my best. And that's what we got from Brooke when she was with her dad. When it came to a Bully Ray and a Hulk Hogan, that ring segment was actually not a bad ring segment. Particularly when you see Bully Ray spit in the face of a Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan, Aah! The crowd went epic for it. And that's what made this show a lot more interesting. This crowd was a lot more livelier than most crowds I've heard. I don't believe there was much canned heat in it. If I'm wrong, tell me below. But you could see in the background, the crowd was actually cheering very loudly. You can see when they saw the t-shirt come off and he goes, you! They were into it. And I thought, and I said this months ago, there's a possibility Bully Ray and a Hulk Hogan could fight. And I've heard more people say, dude, he had a whole bunch of back surgery. He's not going to do it. Then what did we just get in the ring? Yes, it was some very light, stiff hands from a Hulk Hogan, and he was very stiff in the ring. Of course, he got a bad back. But he did that business in the ring. Hogan cleaned house. And then, when it came to a Bully Ray calling for his boys and they circle the ring, who do we get? We got a Sting. I was actually hoping for a Crow Sting. I was hoping that Sting would come down from the rafters over them with his jacket on, with his bat, and goes to Bully Ray. But what happened? The light goes out. We get a Sting holding the bat at Hogan, holding the back at Bully Ray, and proceeds to kick everyone's ass with a wonderful, the glorious, the 24-inch python, I'm sorry, of Hulk Hogan. But you get what I mean. So at the end, we get the bat back in Hogan's face saying, I just saved your ass, you bastard. But you know what? I'm still not your friend. He walks off. So you see Hogan after that wondering what the fuck just happened, and we end the show. I say B show. There was some good things in it. It wasn't great, but it were good. I really believe the most strongest thing there is going to be the feud between Dirty Heels and the wonderful, the glorious Bad Influence, and what's going on with AJ Styles, and the teasing of Fortune. Hopefully, no actual Fortune. So I hope you enjoyed this Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. And I thank you very much for watching these shows. I can never repay you, and I hope you continue watching and I continue giving you some good stuff. Have a good day.